Action, not intelligence. Earlier this week, I watched one of those generic life advice videos. You know the type, a business guy in a suit, very confident, telling you how life works. But he said something that stuck with me. Life rewards action, not intelligence. And that got me thinking about language learning, because I constantly come across friends, colleagues, people on the internet who believe they can't learn a language. They'll say it's genetic, that their brain just isn't wired for it, that they don't have the intelligence for languages. And honestly, I'm not convinced. Of course, there's some natural variation. Some people pick things up faster than others. But I've been learning languages for 2 decades, and I don't feel particularly gifted when it comes to learning languages. I don't think I'm naturally predisposed or especially talented at becoming bilingual. And yet here I am, posting videos of myself speaking languages on YouTube, showcasing them to the world. So how does this mindset come about? Well, what I think happens is that people do 2 things. First, they get discouraged by the method they use to learn. Usually it goes like, they download an app, often Duolingo, they start strong, build a streak, maybe even hit an 1,000-day streak, and at the end of all that effort, they realise they still can't have a conversation, and that is demotivating. When they experience this, they believe they aren't smart enough, so they give up. Then they see someone who can hold a conversation, and it looks like intelligence. But I think the truth is much more boring. If you look closely at most language apps and courses, a huge amount of time is spent not in the language you're trying to learn. There's English explanations, social feeds, ads, podcasts that spend half the episode explaining grammar in English. If you've actually measured how much time you're speaking, reading, or listening to your target language, you might be surprised at how little it really is. Think about it this way. In our native language, we speak somewhere between 6,000 and 20,000 words a day. If you do one Duolingo lesson, you'd be lucky to hit 30, and that difference really matters. You cannot learn a language by exposing yourself to 30 words a day. In fact, planning this video has pushed me to be even more honest with myself about my own learning. Right now, I'm only really using language shadowing, and what I like about it is that it tracks something that actually matters: how many phrases I'm exposed to each day. At the moment, I'm averaging around 200 sentences a day, roughly 1,000 words. And honestly, I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. But now that I can measure my learning like this, I want to push it. Maybe 300 sentences a day, maybe 400, maybe more. Because the moment you start measuring reps instead of experience points and streaks, you get a metric that more accurately reflects your efforts. So you can't lie to yourself about the action that you have taken towards your goal. The second reason I think people say they aren't smart enough to learn a language is, to be honest, we're all attracted to quick wins and hacks. But I've come to realise that most progress in life comes from the compounding micro progressions. You have to sit down every day and do the boring tasks. Now that doesn't mean learning a language can be boring. You can get a lot of joy from reading an article or watching a video or listening to music in the language that you're learning, but it doesn't necessarily need to be wrapped in a system that pretends you're going to make more progress than you actually will. I'm guilty of this, and most of the YouTubers who make content about learning languages are. They promise easy wins, and it works because there's something in our brains which attracts us to quick, high dopamine methods. So, instead, I'd encourage you to set a goal and make incremental and, importantly, measurable steps towards it every day. When you cut out the noise, progress becomes inevitable. If you find yourself believing that intelligence is the thing holding you back from learning a language, or if you find yourself caught in a loop of looking for the best hacks to achieve fluency, take a moment to pause. Ask, how much of the language have I actually engaged with today? Because life and languages reward action, not intelligence. If you want a more detailed guide showing how I use the language shadowing method to learn languages, then check out the video linked on your screen. I'll also link to the app in the description. And thank you so much for watching. My name's Rick, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Ciao.